It's your boy Warren B. Author, Pimp God, but your mama should have told you. This is conquering the simp within. And really we're dealing with the simp versus the pimp mindset. I have seen strong brothers, big brothers, burly dudes, right? Who would kill a man over his woman, as he should, right? That's his woman. But I've sat at the table with a chick when I was in college. I went to a local college. It wasn't like a 4-year college. It was just like a, one of them little local community colleges, you know what I'm saying? And I had this chick that was in one of my classes, and she was married, and I could have fucked. She used wanting to sing as an excuse. And, she'd come over the house, I'd teach her lessons and shit, but really, she was open for more. I never really acted on it. She was a decent looking woman. And I remember going to her house one time, and I sat in the kitchen. Her husband was cooking. Big dude. And he loved her dirty drawers. And I remember sitting in the kitchen, having introduced me as one of her classmates. And I remember sitting there looking at this dude cooking and probably cleaning and stuff, feeling sorry for him. I felt sorry for him because his wife told me that she's cheated on him before. And here I was, somebody else, that she was willing to give it to. I never acted on it, but an ex of mine was married, and she lost respect for her husband. And in common female psychology, she blamed him for abusing her, but she was actually abusing him. She was a borderline personality disorder woman, and they are nut to crack, but they are a very peculiar and abusive kind of disorder. Very abusive. And they will drive a man to justify their internal. He don't see her that way, but she sees herself that way. Her internal bitch dog existence. And when a man does not supply a woman with that need, what need? The need to be punished. Women get with men to punish them when they have that kind of inner self-image. It's not something that you can tell from the outside. That's why women will drag themselves through the mud. He wiped out my bank accounts. He raped me. He raped my I don't even want to say it. But they take themselves through tumultuous situations, but in their consciousness they blame the men. There's a lot of black women who hate men erroneously. They should hate themselves. Or either they were taught to hate themselves, but everybody, it's like that show, Everybody Hates Chris. Everybody hates the black man. Everybody can be justified in blaming a black man. That's the accepted answer for all disaster that hits a woman's world. Just blame a black man for it in some way. If he didn't rape you, he wanted to, because that's his base nature. Black women actually rape children, boys, more than black men rape girls. And black women are also responsible for most of the rape of men, of girls by men. Let me say that again. Black women are also responsible for most of the rape of girls by men due to negligence. Mama opened the door and let this fucking animal scavenger into our fucking home. She looked away from my older brother having sex with me at fucking 6 years old. That's a true story that I know personally from another ex of mine from back in the day. She looked away from her favorite child, her oldest son, having all-out intercourse with his 6-year-old daughter, with her 6-year-old daughter, and another 6-year-old daughter of hers, because she was a twin, and another daughter of hers that was about 8, because she was 2 years older than them. He was fucking all 3 of them. And she looked away from it. Do you hear me? She drank herself to death, probably. She was a stone alcoholic. And she ended up dying. And I think maybe some of that was her own guilt, her inner guilt. It was her inner guilt. She may not have ever said it, because it's difficult for black women to admit wrong. But I know it fucked with her. Your daughter told you, and you ignored it. And who was she molested by? These are intergenerational cycles. When a woman is with a man, the first thing that man has to ascertain is why. Yeah, she wants love. Yeah, she wants a relationship. Yeah. But that may not really answer the why. She may want punishment. Women are prone to masochism. Sometimes your relationship was so tumultuous that ended in physical issue because you were with a woman that needed punishment to justify the way that she actually feels and sees herself. A loving, wholesome man would not have met or matched up with her self-image. Some women need and love punishment. And if you don't give it to them, they'll choose a dude who will. They'll just pick a buster just to put themselves in position to be taken advantage of. Yes, they will do that. A simp worships the ground a woman walks on. Why? Because that's the way men were cultivated. We were cultured to worship women. We were cultured to serve them. Well, why would a government want a system in America of men that worship women and cater to women and slave for women? Because it's easier to control the masses when the men are weak and broken. That's why. What is the number one asset of the rich? The dumb, weak, poor. The poor are the number one asset of the super rich. The poor. In 1905, John D. Rockefeller created the General Education Board to control what the rest of us learn. The rich control what we learn in school. And the rich still control what we learn in school, which is also what we don't learn in school. What we are taught at home, the rich play a role in that too. And men in this society are cultivated to be mules who are worked to the bone until they die. This is sad, but it's true. That's how men are cultivated in this society, to be servants of women. And if a man is broken in his natural logic, right, then it's going to be easy to manipulate him and also to control his purse strings. How do the rich control the poor's purse strings? By making sure that the majority of the control of the purse strings in every home in the United States is controlled by the women, not the men, not the logic, but the emotion. Now, marketers go to work and they market their products and their services to women who make the major purchases in the home. In fact, the major decision to buy a home rests with the female. Real estate agents know that. If I could get her to say, oh, I love the house, you're pretty much more than halfway home. I mean, consider that the finances and everything is in place, but in terms of the sale, it's just her. All you gotta do is sell her. Yes, dear. Okay, dear. We were cultivated even by our mothers to worship women. That's why I wrote Pimp God What Your Mama Should Have Told You. Because our mothers are guilty in our cultivation too, to be simps and hobos. Someone ignorant of MAC principles. A pimp, on the other hand, sees an employee in a woman. A pimp, on the other hand, sees a woman as an employee. Not a goddess, but an employee who can be replaced. What gives a man that power? Employee to do what? Smoke weed and fucking play video games? No. A man with a purpose, right, has the right to see a woman as an employee, to see a woman as a potential asset to his purpose and to his life. The average dude, he doesn't have that. He don't have that going for him. He sees women as something to be worshipped. In my book, Pimp God, it says that a pimp must always put himself first. I always say that if you are leading a woman through unknown territory, in the deep of the woods, the deep, and you've never been in this situation, okay, you don't follow her. You have male logic. And if you developed as a man, you have intuition. You're supposed to lead her. And you can't lead her walking behind her, looking at her marvelous ass. That's not going to protect you from the bear. That's not going to protect you from the snakes. It's not going to protect you from the poison ivy and all the different things. You have to be in your masculine position of leadership and authority. I have said this for many years, that we are still in the wilderness. The only reason that we're not in the wilderness and recognize it as such is because this is a section of the wilderness that's covered in concrete. But the truth is, it's the wilderness. It's still the wilderness underneath all this concrete. And when you have companies that are closing down, and women and people losing their jobs by the boatload, right? You're back to square one. Count the skill set of a man, his ability to hunt, one way or another, whether he hunts online or he hunts out in the brush, right? You're counting on a man. Women could pretend to be independent, but they were still dependent on the men who make the laws that give them such freedoms of expression. A pimp puts himself first, always. He's walking through the wilderness ahead of his woman so that he can be the first to ward off, attack, to face another living thing in order to eat. These are key things, man. It's time for men to regain their sword and their shield and recognize that we are the warrior class. The women are not the warrior class. You ain't supposed to be following her. You ain't supposed to be following her in the mall with her sexy ass switching and walking through the mall while you mesmerized by her ass. Put her either on the side of you or behind you. This is order.